Hey everybody, welcome back to Dirty Work. Kind of a crazy world we're living in right now, so we're doing a few things, take extra precautions, just keep everybody safe. I'm just kidding. We're not doing anything crazy. Okay everybody, so since I saw you last, we have added the taillights. We got them working, third brake light in and working. And you might notice the taillights are tinted. They're actually the taillights that came out of this pickup, the factory taillights. What I did, they were beat up, nasty. I actually hit them with 400 grit sandpaper on a DA mostly, and then cleaned them up, wiped them off with a plastic cleaner, and then actually sprayed a tinted clear on them. And the way I did that is just mix a little black into clear. So if you had any questions maybe about that, that's how them are done. I'll give you a little closer look here in a bit, but that's not really what we're talking about today. Today, we're going to try to start working on this big hole here. We're going to build a bumper for it. And what we're going to do there, we got moved bumpers, front and rear. Today we're going to start with the back one. See what we can do. So you guys can tell there's plenty good light output coming out of these. And even when they're off, they're not as dark as what they look like in the camera. They look black in the camera, but they're really just a dark cherry in person. I didn't want to go any darker with them because without putting LEDs in them, I was afraid I wouldn't get enough light output for, signaling and people behind you seeing. We're not driving a BMW. We actually use the turn signals. So we just, like I said, just tinted them with some clear. Pretty easy deal. I got maybe an hour in them, cleaning them all up. I did put new boards in them because I wasn't getting reverse light in this one, so I just threw a pair of boards. Went down to my local Napa, 35 bucks for the pair of them. Got that in good shape. Really happy with the way they turned out. Really happy. But enough about taillights. Let's move on to the next thing. Okay, let's get this sucker open. Okay. Looks like we got a side. Pretty heavy stuff. Got an end cap. Not sure what that's about. Figure it out. Brackets. Oh, I hate this spray foam crap. Remains intersection. Alright, looks good. Okay, first step, we got to weld the center to each side. We got to put it all together. We put it on this table, make sure this is all straight. Now we're just going to tack. We're going to do it on the inside so that if we got to do any other work, can work on the outside then. But we're going to tack this stuff together. Then we'll move over and put the other side on. Then we'll start fitting it to the pickup. One thing, I have already put the brackets on and I'll show them to you later, but we had to clearance the bed because of the depth of the frame. The bed doesn't allow the bracket to come through there. Like I said, I'll show you what I did there later on, but the other thing we're going to have to do on this one, because we're putting this on a step side, we're going to have to notch this corner a little further because the bed side itself, you know, your tailgate's narrower, so your tailgate opening is narrower. So we're going to have to just increase this, but I want to get these ends on it first, and then I can measure and see how wide that needs to be. But that'll be here before we actually put it on the pickup. But for now, we just need to get this stuff, these three pieces tacked together. I'm going to do that. We're using a Millermatic 251 welder. Just borrowed it from my brother. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So we're going to burn this thing together and go from there. Okay, we got these three pieces tacked together, but before we can put it on, we actually need, because this is step side, we got to narrow this upper piece in the center because it's got to fit in between the tailgate opening, cover that hole. So what we did is we held our end cap on, marked our mark here, and then we figured out what our width needs to be across, and we're ended up cutting out just a piece just like that, just a little rectangle. Just should give us our width that we need there. You can see we've marked squared across here. We ended up needing to take a total of 9 inches, so we're taking 4.5 off of each side, so we're good and centered in there. And you can see this side's already cut. And then let me find my end cap over there. Is that this one? No. Nope, not the one. You can see this then I'm not really lining up great, but that's how that'll work. And then our bedside will stick through here and come around. Okay, we got some tacks on our brackets. Should be ready to pull the bolts out, get it up on a stand, and start burning some of this together for good. You want to make sure, get plenty of good heat penetration, even on your tacks, because if you don't, it's going to fall apart when you're trying to put together. But moving on. Okay, you can see we've got it all tacked up here. I was just going to take a minute and show you this bracket. I had the clearance for the bed bolt. The rear bed bolt runs in this way, and I needed to clearance this to give it room. I'm going to obviously weld all this together. But then I also had to clearance the bed here for those brackets to slide in. And I only went as much as I absolutely had to because I didn't really like that, but it is what it is. But making progress. Fast forward, we've got it all welded. I did my grinding that I'm going to do. This seam here is the only one that I'm leaving because it's the only one that I can't really grind the way I want, so not going to be a big deal. Just how I'm choosing to do it. Was able to grind that one. This was all welded. This piece is separate from this, so this whole piece was welded around here. So you can see what I used is a 4.5 inch grinding stone. Then I went to a 60 grit flap disc, and then I've actually sanded the whole thing with a DA with 80 grit. And you can see there's still some grind marks. You got to look close, but we're gonna have to prime this fairly heavy anyways to get rid of that. So I'm not getting super crazy, and they're not. You can see them, but you can't feel them, I guess, mostly. I will have a little bit of body work to do, like across where this seam is, where the side meets the top. It's not just completely flat, and with hoping to go with a gloss black at this point still. If I change my mind and decide to do bed liner, then we can obviously leave that. You won't be able to see it, but I think I'm going to body work those areas just a little bit, and then just any little spots that I see I got one spot right here where it kind of melted just a little bit. Do that. And then the only other thing I need to do is mount the tabs for the pods in here, but I don't have the pods in yet, and I'll just get them, and they're on order but they're not here yet, so then I'll just burn them brackets on the back side, no big deal. And then I need to do a trailer plug here, and then I've also got tag lights coming that will mount on either side here. So just some cheapy little Amazon specials. Other than that, sucker's pretty well ready for primer. Really happy with the way it turned out. Everything, I mean, there were a few pieces here and there that we had to kind of twist to get lined up the way we wanted. But, and then, of course, this is the section we had to cut out for the step side. But honestly, fits up there really nice. That was the only modification we had to make because of being a step side. Like I said, we did have to modify this notch into this, and then we had to put this notch in the bed, which this notch in the bed will be covered with the bracket, obviously, and then the bumper sits in here, so you're not even really going to see that. I still don't really like it, but that's what it is. Not a big deal. And it did fit great with the factory tow hitch, which is awesome. And other than that, we're ready for some body work on this sucker and get it painted and hung. So that'll do it for Move Bumper Rear Edition. We're gonna keep moving forward. We got the front one still to do, and that'll probably be our next video. Not going real crazy with in-depth on these, obviously, guys, but gives you an idea of what it takes to get one on one of these pickups. And so, for now, I say go find a project, get dirty.